Hello, everybody, and welcome to this Monday edition of Weather-weenies. Kind of a rare one.
It is.
I'm meteorologist Christian Bridges. We've got Alan Holt here. This is our first time ever doing Weather-weenies together.
I think it might be our first time talking with each other in front of a camera.
I would agree. I think so.
I think it's the first time. Yeah.
Maybe we had like one toss over during like a snowstorm in the winter, but I think mostly this is about it.
We're ships passing in the night typically.
We typically are. Yeah, we're very much on the opposite schedule, but not this week. I'm actually going to be on Weather-weenies the next couple of days.
It'll be fun. And I guess it's appropriate because we're both from the South and we've got a taste.
That's right.
Of I would say Texas heat, but it's southern heat.
It's southern heat, although I do think that where you're from in deep South Texas was a little more extreme than North Georgia and Atlanta metro, but it does kind of all feel the same once you get so hot and humid.
It's going to be hot.
It's going to be hot later this week, and also I'll add that we're both Mississippi State grads.
We are.
So we got to have a little representation for that. We got Ryan and Dana from Penn State. So
it's a split house.
It is a split house, and then Todd's something else.
Todd just. He's
just Todd. Yeah.
Todd's awesome though, by the way.
He is. Yeah. And we still have not had him ever on Weather-weenies.
Really?
So we got to get him on here at some point.
Maybe someone needs to
the people are asking.
Get sick or something. Yeah.
That's right.
Get Todd on.
It would probably be like an emergency situation.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll do like a morning edition.
We should do with everybody one time.
I think that'd be so much fun.
That's tough.
5 people in here.
Yeah.
Maybe we could do do it on the deck or something.
Yeah.
And do a different camera setup.
Maybe once the heat subsides.
That's right. Yeah. At least today, beautiful. And I mean, this
gorgeous,
is just been an awesome month. I actually was running the numbers earlier. We're in top 10 for number of 80-degree days in Portland in the month of June.
Yep.
Third warmest June on record so far.
And that's going to probably, we've only got
what's today's the 20th?
One more day.
Tomorrow's the last day
So
of
we'll
June.
see. Yeah. We'll see where, and it's going to be warm, warmer than average. So I would suspect we would stay top 3 hottest.
Top 3 warmest June.
Yeah.
So, and we're headed right into potentially a pretty hot July, or at least a really hot start to July.
It looks like it's going to be, if you don't have access to AC, you'll want to maybe try to find something like that, or at least a way to stay cool these next several days.
Actually, Katie Delaney, our morning reporter, she came up to me and she's like, "I don't have AC in my apartment." I was like, "How are you going to survive this week?"
Fan at minimum.
Brutal.
Fan at minimum.
Exactly. But at least today, super comfortable out there. I felt the sea breeze walking through Portland earlier. It felt really nice. Tomorrow looks pretty good too. It's Wednesday through the 4th of July. That is really
that's where you're right.
Yeah, it's just going to be super excessive with the heat. And over the weekend, it was looking like the 4th, it might break a little.
Yeah.
Now it's kind of looking like it lingers with some of the really excessive heat. So, the Weather Service all in on this too. Extreme heat watch in place for central and southern Maine. Yeah, no surprise there. Feels like temperatures over 100. I think those are pretty much a guarantee at this point for a lot of us with how high the humidity levels will be.
Yeah.
Dew points in the 70s. I mean,
we were talking about the dew point in the office before.
He was doing some calculations.
Well, I mean, but you made a great point that this goes in line with the heat watch, the extreme heat watch. Because the dew point is going to be so high in the 70s, it's not just going to cool down like that at night. Once the sun goes down, it's going to stay warm because of how humid it is. And typically we think, okay, night comes, we get relief, but that's not going to be the case with this one.
And one thing about summer here is usually at night it's like refreshing.
I know.
Beautiful. Even if you get a 90-degree day, it usually cools down at night. Not with this later this week. I think that's the big factor here. Look at our dew point trend. I mean, maybe a little overblown, but I mean, most models showing low to mid 70s with the dew points Wednesday, Thursday, maybe a little less humid Friday, but still not enough to be feeling better necessarily.
It's going to be tangibly sticky outside.
Very sticky.
Like insta sweat Thursday.
Yes, and because of how humid it is, your sweat's not going to be very effective because the reason that you cool down when you sweat is that it evaporates off your skin. It's an evaporative cooling process. Well, when the air is already full of moisture completely,
can't put more in it.
You can't put more in it. Exactly. It's like trying to fill up a glass already full,
And that's where we derive the heat index.
Yes. Yeah. So Alan made this great graphic showing what we're expecting for the worst of it Wednesday through Saturday. Yeah, you can see each afternoon pushing 100 for the feels like, if not pushing 105. It looks like the core of it coming on Thursday and Friday.
And we're talking about such a big geographic area. There's obviously going to be some variance, within the highs. Maybe someone is 88 with a heat index of 96 or something like that Thursday. The gist, though, is that we're looking at mid to low 90s for a 3 or 4 day stretch.
I'd say anywhere away from the immediate coast.
And and the heat index could be anywhere from the upper 90s to the lower 100s.
Right.
And I think that's really the messaging. So with that, I mean, you've got to be taking care of yourself.
Yes.
If you're spending time outside or you're working.
Yep. I mean, it's construction season.
Yes.
Everywhere you drive right now, you're seeing dozens of construction workers
Big
outside.
Time. Yeah.
So I can only imagine what they're going to be going through later this week.
Yeah, we would encourage people to take a 5-minute break every 30 minutes of work.
Right. Start getting hydrated now.
Yes. Just to stay ahead of it. Hydration with water.
Yep.
Is probably the biggest thing you can do, because you just got to.
Right.
You're going to be sweating.
You're going to be losing a ton of water, not
that.
replacing it. Yes. Yep. So good idea to get your body ready for it today and tomorrow before it gets really excessive, because then Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, super hot. Yeah, here's what the models are showing for Wednesday afternoon. 100 plus. We might get a little relief right along the immediate coast with the sea breeze. We were actually talking about this earlier. Last year, if you guys remember that, we had a day in Portland, we hit 99 degrees. I was actually in Cape Elizabeth that day at Kettle Cove, and sea breeze was blowing. As soon as I drove into Portland, though, it was extremely hot. So the beach might be the place to be later this week for sure.
And there is that coastal variant, you know, where if you're right on the beach and you've got any semblance of an onshore breeze, the sea surface temps are what, like
61.
60, right?
I saw 61 earlier.
So that the beach is going to be your best bet for any type of relief.
Don't let your guard down about the cold water too. I know a lot of people are going to be jumping in the ocean, but it varies so much beach to beach. I don't know if you've noticed that. Like, you go to one beach that's more exposed to the open ocean, the water's a lot colder than if you're in Ocean Park or Old Orchard, where it's more sheltered in Saco Bay there, and it tends to warm up a little bit better. But definitely keep that in mind too. But beach is the place to be later this week. Thursday especially just looks incredibly. I mean, this is 7 p.m.
You're going to be at the beach.
We're still I'm going to be at the beach. We're still talking about feels like temperatures into the evening.
And that's what we were saying. The dew point values being so high, it's not just going to allow the temps to drop off.
Right.
It's going to stay really warm even in the evening.
And that's actually, I think, what gets people more than it being hot during the day. You know, I think a lot of people can handle it being a super hot, humid day. But if it doesn't cool down at night, it becomes
sleeping. Kind of just as you sweat while you're sleeping. You know, so the hydration's big. I'm going to make one more point about the heat before we get to the fun stuff.
Right, which is this weekend.
It's going to be great.
Believe it.
Check the back seat. It seems like every summer you hear about a child dying or a pet dying in the back seat of a car. So check the back seat.
Right.
It's a big one. And if you have pets, don't walk them in the middle of the day.
Right.
Like, if you're walking them where the sun's beating down on
think about
asphalt,
what the pavement temperatures will be.
It's going to be it's
130, 140.
Yes, easy. So if you touch it and it's hot for you, it's probably too hot for the dog. So like, find a grassy area, but avoid asphalt or paved surfaces when it's really hot.
Especially if your dog has like black fur or something like that, it's just going to absorb the heat so much better.
Albedo,
Yes.
Light colors are best to wear.
Right. Light colors are best to wear. Light colored dogs will fare the best.
But if you're like these colors, I think
that's right. That's right. I was complimenting Alan on his nice linen shirt. A good vibe for later this week. And of course, at the end of the week, we've got the 4th of July. One of the hotter ones in recent memory in Maine. Last year, I think it was pretty nice. Past couple years, it's been pretty decent on the 4th. At least this is my 5th 4th of July in Maine. Definitely going to be the hottest one. So upper 80s, low 90s. Hopefully the sea breeze keeps the coast a little bit cooler. We might have to contend with scattered showers and storms. We were talking about this earlier in that it's really hard to know the timing of them more than a day or two out. We know there's the possibility, but because it's just so hit or miss with the convective nature of the storms, until you're a day or two out, it's going to be hard to know the exact timing. So stay tuned.
Riding that ridge.
Right, ridge riders.
That's what Dana calls them those. Yes. But 4th of July. Do you have a favorite part of 4th of July?
Oh, I gotta say the food.
Do you like the food?
Yeah,
Like what?
Like barbecue. My friend Dan, he always makes like amazing ribs on the 4th.
Okay. I was gonna say
really
burgers or dogs, but you're going ribs.
True.
Okay.
Yep. I'll
You're high quality.
I'm sure a burger will be in my on my 4th
Yeah.
plans as well. But and who doesn't love fireworks? I know some people have their opinions about them, especially if you're a pet owner. But I love the fireworks.
It's festive.
Watch them over the Portland waterfront. Always just such a special treat.
Yeah.
But yeah, here's a quick peek at our 7-day forecast. Yeah, a heat wave in New England, 3 days in the 90s, or in the South,
3 or more.
just another day.
Yeah.
But here it's 3 or more, and I think some spots might get 4. Some spots, if we get to 90 tomorrow, like our typical hot spots, maybe 5 days of 90s.
It's hot.
It's hot. It's hot. And I would say, even though we don't have a storm chance on every day here, and most of us probably won't get one every day, with such an extremely bubbly, hot, humid air mass. There's just so much energy in the atmosphere. Any storm, a storm could develop really any afternoon.
Yeah.
So it's a possibility.
Tuesday night looks like the next best offering.
Yes. Tomorrow night, it might be woken up maybe around 2 in the morning to some thunderstorms. So, So there we go.
We're
Heat
done.
wave on the way.
That's a wrap.
That's a wrap.
weather-weenies at newscentermaine.com. If you have any questions for us, or if you want any more insight on another topic, send a message there. If not, I think we're
And
out.
you'll have us right here tomorrow. So if you got any questions for us, send them our way. If not, we'll see you back here tomorrow.